Hi guys, this is my informative speech. So, have you ever sat into a speech and you thought that somebody was talking directly to you, knew exactly what you were going through life, and just knew everything about you? This is how I felt when I went to a speech at UMES during Black History Month. So the speech was given to us by Michael Eric Dyson, who is a minister and a professor. And he came during Black History Month, which was a perfect time for him to come because he is well spoken on topics of Black History Month and challenges within people of color communities. And the Black History Month speech didn't just educate or entertain students. It genuinely was speaking to us into our soul. It told us what we needed to do. It inspired us, and it was probably the best speech that I've ever heard, at all, not even just for the school. So today I'll share with you who Michael Eric Dyson was, which, like I said, he is a professor, and he was also a minister and also a bestseller of a couple books, and why he was invited to UMES. And I'll walk through main points of his address. And I feel like while I'm saying this stuff, I feel like you can understand how I thought this was the best speech that I've ever heard. And then finally, I'll reflect on how he connected to Cicero's meaning and ideas of what we've been learning about in class. So first, let's look through why he was invited to our campus. So on February 19th, which is Black History Month of this year, 2025, he gave a motivational speech at our PAC, which for students, we know it as PAC, but is for the Performing Arts Center for people who don't go there. And it was a part of the Black History Month events that was going on at the school. And he is known for race regulations and culture criticism and political commentary. These are the things that he is well refined on. And when I walked into the auditorium, it wasn't a lot of people there. And then it finally just by the time he was ready to start, the entire thing was packed. And there were even people standing up, people sitting on the floor. A lot of people came to listen to this speech. And as I kept going, I understood why. And this was also open up for students, for faculty, and the community. So it wasn't just UMES students there. And he is a Georgetown psychologist and a Baptist minister. And he's written over 25 books. And some of the most popular ones he did was Malcolm X, Barack Obama, and Jay-Z, which we all know these people. And he did a very good job at blending academic insight with street level, words and truth to make people understand what he was saying and what he was talking about. And I think it deeply connects to students on a real level of their struggles and hopes for the future. And then Dyson was invited as a speaker for the presidential lecture series that was going on at the time. And it was designed to bring people of color to our HBCU. And it was nationally recognized for voices for our campus. So he came and he honored Black people during Black History Month, as he is a Black man himself, to talk to all of us. So his presence wasn't the only impact that he made, as he is a high person in the Black people of color field, it wasn't just his presence, it was also his message, which I thought was the most important thing that he did. So he spoke mainly about people of color issues like racism, and also the presidential election that was going on at the time, and we all know how that is. And then he also addressed the LGBTQ community, which I was surprised from, because you don't really see a lot of straight Black men talking about the LGBT community and supporting it as well. So I thought that was very, very powerful for him to sit and him to talk about, because I am very connected with the LGBTQ community. So I was very surprised and happy to hear him talk about this stuff. And he also talked about political challenges, and he emphasized that we were at a HBCU and that these are the things that we have to worry about, and the struggles and the mutual support that everybody was giving each other. And then one quote that he said that still sticks with me today, and like, you can ask me like in a month and I'll still probably remember, like I will remember it, as this speech was a few months ago, is don't condemn something that you're being condemned for. And what he meant by this was for people of the Black and people of color community to not condemn people of the LGBTQ community, because we're all being condemned for being ourselves. And I thought this was very, very powerful, and it genuinely made me think a little bit about like what he meant about that, and it really stuck with me. And now it's something that I will take with me, with everybody, not just for people of color and people of the Black community. And his delivery of this speech was very powerful and a little bit playful, because I feel like he knew his crowd. He knew that he was talking to younger people, a little bit older people as for like the community and the faculty, but mostly younger people. So he made sure to make a balance of jokes mixed with truth. And I thought that this was very good, because in speeches I've heard in the past, I didn't really want to listen to them, because it's like, I don't want to sit and listen to this boring speech. But he did a great job at making it interesting and keeping me engaged, because I wasn't really going there and I didn't really want to listen to it, but like I ended up listening to it because he was talking about things that I wanted to know about and I wanted to listen to. So he did have a blend of humor and passion in his speech. And I think not only me, but everybody else in the crowd felt that he was really trying. And this message was very powerful, and the persuasion was corrected directly to the idea of rhetoric's earliest champions, as it connects to Cicero's beliefs in rhetoric. And he believed in essential to building and maintaining justice in society. And he urged the audience to vote at the time, and speak against injustices and stay engaged in their communities. And speaking from his preacher and professor background, he knew exactly how to say this and say it to the specific crowd that he was talking to. And he reminded us that justice isn't just an idea. It's a daily practice that we all should believe in. And his words reflected Cicero's vision of rhetoric as a tool of good communication, and called for participation and sharing amongst every community. And he used persuasion. I think that was the main thing that he used was persuasion to move listeners to examine their own roles in the social progress that we need to make for people of color and the people of LGBT community. So that was the result of his powerful speech in the UMES PAC Performing Arts Center. And I would say that his speech wasn't just a celebration, it was genuinely like a call to action. And his speech genuinely moved us and challenged us to listen and hear things that we didn't want to hear, but we needed to hear. And he rooted for justice for all. And he wanted to teach us how to make a more stronger community. And honestly, I didn't expect, like I said before, I didn't expect to like this speech, but I really did. I originally went to the speech as a speech that I had to watch for class, as I was in public relations for that semester. And then we were supposed to come back and tell the class how we felt about the speech. And as we went around the class, we all kind of said the same thing, that he really brought everything together and connected it to the students that were listening to it, as he was very influential to us at that time. Everybody was listening and everybody felt what he was saying. And also, they also said that for one main thing that he talked about was the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef that was going on, and it was like really heavy at the time. He used that in his speech to connect it to things that we were all listening to at that time. So I thought it was very interesting when he was saying these things. But that is my speech.